to say thanks for being here and showing me the way. Ooh, thanks to you and all of my friends helping to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you, all of my friends helping to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you, the fear is gone because of you. I sing this song. No more worries to bring me down, 'cause friends like you help me out. Ooh, thanks to you and all of my friends helping to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you and all of my friends helping to get through when the times are blue. Ooh, when the times are blue. When the times are breaking down, thanks to you and all of my friends helping to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you and all of my friends help to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you and all of my friends help to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you and all of my friends help to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you. Thanks to you. Oh, and all of my friends. Thanks to you and all of my friends help to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you and all of my friends help me to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you and all of my friends help me to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you. Yeah, and all of my friends. Oh, thanks to you and all of my friends help me to get through when the times are blue. Oh, thanks to you.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Denver's online Sunday service. We are a loving, prosperous community in the heart of Capitol Hill and now online. And yes, it does look like we'll continue to meet online until further notice. Hey, with Thanksgiving coming up, it's always a good reminder for us to count our blessings. And one of our many blessings are all of you. Those who choose to get up on Sunday mornings to join our service live, as well as those who choose to watch during the week. Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Reverend Elzia, and all of our practitioners, our music and service coordinators, want you all to know how truly grateful we are for the online support that you have all given us. Thank you for watching our Sunday services, taking our online workshops and events, and for providing financial support so we can keep our virtual doors open for you. We love you all and know that we'll be seeing you in person in the right and perfect time. And if you're interested in seeing more of each other somewhat live, join us this week for our virtual Zoom fellowship right after service. Just send an email to info@csldenver.org and request a Zoom invitation. And if you like, sign up for our newsletter as well. We send out one message per week letting you know what's happening, who our featured speaker is, and what's coming up, and all of that in just one email. You can sign up over at csldenver.org or send an email to info@csldenver.org and we'll get you added to the mailing list. Finally, Science of Mind magazine is still holding their special limited time offer for CSL members. If you purchase a 12-month Science of Mind digital subscription for $14.95 before December 31st and use the promo code X000025 when you sign up, the Center for Spiritual Living Denver will receive $5 back for each subscription. Digital subscriptions are only $14.95 a year, and you're welcome to give those as gifts. They make great holiday presents. All right, that's all for announcements. Let's get back into the music with more by Freddie Rodriguez Jr.
Looking for a little guidance. It's deep inside my soul. Power and divineness, like a river, let it flow. I'm looking for a little guidance to fight away all this fear, using the armor of Father with protection from his shield. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. I'm looking for a little guidance. It's deep inside my soul. Power and divineness, like a river, let it flow. I'm looking for a little guidance to wipe away all these tears, using the armor of Father with protection from his shield. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. I'm looking for a little guidance. It's deep inside my soul. Power and divineness, like a river, let it flow. I'm looking for a little guidance. It's deep inside my soul. Power and divineness, like a river, let it flow.
Thank you, Freddie. That was beautiful. Okay, now it's time for our invocation. And if you feel comfortable, just sit back and close your eyes and know that you are a divine being in this space. We know that there is a spiritual force in the universe that is healing and divine and intelligent, and it is everywhere. It is in every one of our breaths, our heartbeat. And we know that we are unified with this space. We are unified with this energy. We are unified with this vibrational healing. And we move into that space where we know and declare that creative good in our lives. That river of good does flow through our lives. It is bathing us, washing us, and filling with that divine energy that is unfolding always as our good. We are so grateful this morning to have our service, to have a face and a place and a space, to be who we are, a divine and nurturing community in CSL Denver in the heart of the city. We know that the service goes forth this morning and reaches out into the community and has a ripple effect. And we know that We are so grateful for all that we have in our community. We are open at the top. We let that energy move in and through us, and we become our good as we clarify it and know it. And so it is. So our reading this morning is from Practicing the Presence, Joel S. Goldsmith. How many of us dream about things we would like to do, or dream about goals we would like to fulfill, or dream about good in our life? Then there is that small voice that says, "Why do I deserve that?" The greatest teachers who ever lived taught us we can achieve anything if we believe in the concept and know it is already within us. We are each our own limited or unlimited possibility, and there are no restrictions placed on us by anything or anyone except ourselves. Restrictions are only as permanent or temporary as we make them. We can allow ourselves to discover a higher level of awareness in order to grow to the point where we want to be in life. As we go forward in our quest or search and we see the horizon before us, we may say, "Oh, I have just a short distance to go." Sometimes it takes only a few weeks or months to reach that horizon, and then we celebrate for a few days, a few months, or maybe a few years. Then, as we become accustomed to the light, we become aware of yet another horizon that urges forward, that urges us forward, another advancement that must be traveled. And again, we step forward. So it is with the Spirit of God. It is everywhere, but it is only fully experienced by our willingness to understand resistance is a directional signpost to our greater good. And from our founder, Ernest Holmes, nature will not let us stay in one place for too long. She will let us stay long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and the advancement of the soul. This is a wise provision, for should we stay too long, we would become too set, too rigid, too flexible. Nature demands change in order that we may advance. And so it is. And now back to Freddie with the song Share the Love.
Daniel, you're my brother. I heard it in a song. Sweet little sister, I sang, you danced along. Universal language, it reaches us in song. What does it mean? Well, love is the underlying theme. 'Cause love is a dancer. I share this thought with you, and in return, just some gratitude. Some of your love in return would be so sweet. So come on, people, share the love with me. Listen to your mother, cherish your father, break bread together, celebrate forever. Appreciate this time. Weave your dreams, don't be blind. What does it mean? Well, love is the underlying theme. 'Cause love is the answer. I share this thought with you, and in return, just some gratitude. some of your love in return would be so sweet. So come on, people, share the love with me. 'Cause love is the answer. Oh, I'll share this song with you, and in return, I just gratitude. Some of your love in return would be so sweet. So come on, people, share the love with me. 'Cause love is the answer. Oh, I share this song with you, and in return, I just gratitude. And some of your love in return would be so sweet. So come on, people, share the love with me.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Freddie, for that wonderful song. And hello and good morning, Center for Spiritual Living Denver. It's great to be back with you. It's been, I think, a couple of months now since I've been visiting with you online and one of your services, but it's great to be back with you, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, my message is going to be a little bit different. We're going to flow with it and get you involved with it to a degree. What I'd like to start with this morning is a visualization, one that I want you to visualize along with me as I describe it. And as I do so, I'm going to invite you, if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, to do so. So if you're watching live or if you're watching the recording and you're not doing something dangerous, then like driving a car or operating heavy machinery, would invite you to close your eyes. But I also want to say that as we go through this, there is no right or wrong. I know that oftentimes when I've been asked to do visualizations, I get into a little bit of a judgment about it, and can I really visualize what the person's describing? I want you to know that whatever comes up for you is perfect. I want you to know that the process that we lead through, if you close your eyes and open your eyes and close them back again as you move through it, however you handle and do this particular visualization, it's divinely guided and it's perfect for you in this moment. But I would invite you in this moment, however, to close your eyes just as I'm going to do so. And as we close our eyes and move into this awareness, and you're listening to my words, the first thing that I want you to notice is that there is some aspect within you that is probably saying, ooh, I like visualizations. Or, oh, why are we doing a visualization? I don't do well at visualizations. Or, how long is this going to last? Or maybe you're thinking about what you're going to do for the rest of the day. Or maybe you're somewhere else in your mind. But whatever you're thinking, what I want you to do in this moment is to acknowledge and see that voice in you, that voice that is continuously talking to you. For we all have this essence, this monkey mind verbal description that accompanies us through our life. And I want you to notice that voice within you now, the voice in you that is contemplating my words, thinking about it. And I want you to see and hear and recognize that you have this voice and it's there with you every day. And as you think back through your life, that voice has always been with you, guiding you, telling stories about your life, observing what's going on around you, and then describing for you its meaning for you. And this person, this essence, this voice, for the next few moments, I'm going to call this voice the storyteller. And we each have this storyteller in us who is absorbing our events in the world and telling us stories about what they mean. They're looking forward into that vision of the future and telling us stories about where our life is going. And they're also guiding us to how we see our life. And I know that each and every one of us has this storyteller within us. And so in this moment, I want you to notice that storyteller in you. But as you do so, I ask you this question: is that you? Is that all that is you? And immediately you know the answer is no, because there is some part of you that is observing the storyteller. There is some part of you that is grander and above that storyteller. And in this moment, I want you to acknowledge that there is a witness within you that is watching and listening to the storyteller in you. Both of them are in your consciousness. Both of them have aspects of consciousness that are being expressed through you. And so now you have this witness that sits above and watches and listens to the storyteller. And I'm going to visualize that witness as a shard of light, a pinpoint of light. However you see that witness is fine. However you see your storyteller is fine. And now I ask, is that all of you? Are you that storyteller, the voice in your head, and the witness, or is there more to you? And immediately you think, well, what about this body? I'm walking around and having this very existence in this physical form, and I'm aware that I'm sitting in this chair and that I have this body, these legs, this torso, these arms, this head. So am I not also this physical form? So are you the physical form, the body, the storyteller, the witness that's seeing it all? Is that you? But as we stay with this visualization, I want you to then say, well, no, there's more to me than that. There is this aspect in me that has emotions. There's this emotional body that's associated with my physical body that intercedes and interacts between my body and my storyteller, that I continuously have the feelings of love, joy, pain, sorrow, happiness, sadness, that there is this emotional aspect to me that is also a part of me. And so now as we're sitting back and observing ourselves, and however these ideas resonate with you and whatever you are visualizing in this moment, just know it is perfect. Recognize and see that you have this body, a physical body, that you have this emotional body, that you have this mental body storyteller ego that's continuously telling you the stories and demanding your attention. And you have this witness that's watching them all. And so now I ask, is that all there is? Is that all that you are? And you might say, well, that's a snapshot of me in this moment, but I'm more than that because I'm moving through moment by moment. I'm moving through the droplets of time and the droplets of experience. And as I move through these droplets, I can look back and see that there is this dance of time that has occurred prior to me that is also part of me as well, that I have this storehouse of memories within me that my storyteller tells to me. That so when somebody says, well, where did you grow up and what did you do and who are you? That I draw upon these memories of all these stories of this timeline of my past. Isn't that a part of me as well? The stories and the memories that I have of who I was prior to this droplet of time. And I also recognize that this body has changed, that it has grown and aged and gained weight and lost weight and had harm to it and had healing to it. That this physical form has never remained constant. And in this moment, I can truly recognize that the blood is pumping, that the heart is beating, that the lungs are moving air in and out of me, that there is a continuous flow and interaction of my physical body with the world around me. So there is this continuous flow and change that is occurring in my physical form and in my state of emotions and in the story that I tell. And behind all of this is that never-changing, ever-eternal witness, the witness that is seeing and knowing all of this and recognizing it. Can you see this? Can you feel it? What I'd like to invite you to do is, as you stay with this visualization, is to take that witness consciousness that's in you in this moment and rise above your physical form for just a moment and look down upon it. Look down and see your physical form, your emotional body, your storyteller mental body. See the witness in you as that shard of light, that pinpoint of light. And recognize that as you look down upon yourself, you see this flow of time flowing past you, much like you're in the stream of a river. that there is this river flowing and the time is changing and you are changing. You are evolving and growing, and the stories that you tell yourself are continuously changing. That there is this changing aspect to your body, your emotions, your stories, but an unchanging aspect to that witness consciousness that's observing and seeing and knowing it all. Now, even though I'm using the word witness consciousness, I want to stress that your witness and your consciousness that sees and looks down upon all of this is not divorced from your form. It is interconnected with it. And it allows itself to observe and to gain wisdom. And that wisdom is then interjected back into your consciousness, back into your story. That your story changes based on your ability to tap into that witness aspect of yourself and see things from a grander and greater perspective. And in so doing, insert wisdom back into your story. Insert direction into your consciousness. Assist you with course corrections on where you may be going and what you need to do in this form and in this lifetime. Now, as we stay with this visualization for just another couple of moments, what I want you to do is to take that witness consciousness that's hovering above you in form and move up just a little bit higher. And I want you to see that around you are your friends, your family, your coworkers, your loved ones. And as you look upon them, recognize that they too have this physical form, the emotional body, the storyteller, and the pin of light within them, that shard of light that shines within them as their individual witness. And that they're all immersed in this flow of time and change and the divine dance of story of our human lifetime. And you see that we are swirling and interacting with one another, sharing our stories and bumping into one another, changing each other through the flow of lifetime. And as we move upward even further, as we look out upon the vastness of this planet, we can look out and see the millions and billions of shards of light of the individuals of this planet who each in their own way are having that same experience of their body, their emotions, their story, and that witness consciousness within them. And all around this world is this vast, flowing, dynamic interplay between all these shards of light and these bodies and these forms and these stories. And now for a moment, let's take our consciousness back down into our individual self and see ourselves as moving through this individual aspect of this life as me, as who I define myself as. But I want you to bounce upward again and look and see that there's all these other people as well. And know that at any moment, you can take your witness consciousness to be immersed in form with you, or you can move upward to see the vastness of your friends and family and the entire world and its interplay and its intersection of its bodies, its stories, its witnesses. But I invite you in this moment to shift your attention upward even further, up above the world of form and the world of time is a bright light. It's a bright light that extends for eternity and infinity. It's outside of time and it's outside of form. And as you see this bright light above all, recognize that there are pinpoints of light that are coming from it and downward into this universe, this physical form, this aspect of the world as we know it. That new shards of light are coming down and birthing into new forms and new stories and carrying with them that consciousness of the witness that's observing that life. And also notice that the shards of light are leaving the lower level and returning to the form above. That there is a return back to the oneness of all. That there's a continuous flow of lights up and down as new stories are being birthed and other stories are finishing this chapter and returning to oneness. And with all of that anchored, I'd invite you now, you can open your eyes and back into this. And you might ask, well, why are we going through this morning? What is the purpose of this? Why have this experience? Well, I'd invite you to go back through it in your own mind and see what gifts it gives you. But there's three key elements that I wanted to highlight through the telling of this story, the telling of this visualization, however it unfolded for you. And the first one, I want to talk about our own creative ability. Where in this are we creating? Where, we teach in Science of Mind that our consciousness, our thoughts are creative. Thoughts are things. But where are thoughts and consciousness serving to be creative in this dance, in this multiplicity within the unity that I just described for you? Well, we can say that on our individual levels, we recognize that somewhere within the stories that we're telling, our storytellers are telling stories that are embedded in our consciousness and our memories, and that those stories are creating aspects of our reality. We can also see that our physical forms, our bodies, has a level of consciousness within it. And its form is calling forth and creating. Messages come forth from that body that say, I'm hungry, I have need for water or drinking, or I have other physical urges within me that are calling forth to be expressed. So that body's consciousness is manifesting and creating as well. And we often teach in Science of Mind that when we can affirm something and build our emotions into it, our emotions have a creative power that adds to and gives color and flavor to our consciousness. And so obviously our emotions have a creative aspect to them as well. So that as we think and tell our stories and we can add emotion to them, they have more creative power. But what about that free will choice, the ability to insert a new story, the ability to shift the stories that perhaps we've been telling ourselves and to move to a higher and greater aspect of ourselves? And that's where that witness consciousness that sits behind and observes this dance of the interplay of our form, our emotions, our storyteller. It's where we can look at that dance and say, oh, I have gained wisdom through my life and through watching and observing this. And here's something that you might want to consider. Here's a shift that you might want to look at in your life. Here's maybe a slight tweak to take you in a new direction. That the wisdom of that witness is constantly being brought forth. And so what I'm inviting you this day is to recognize that witness within you that is continuously observing all of this going on. It's easy to get hypnotized by the dance of our story and our form and our emotions. But when we can step outside of that and tap into our witness and the wisdom that's contained in that, we can shift our consciousness and be creative in a manner and a direction. Today's talk title was actually The Divine Doesn't Act Until We Do. And what they meant by that, in that title that was given for CSL centers around the country to use if they so desired, what they meant by that is that the divine is actually creating all the time, but are we consciously inserting the direction that we want? And it's only when we can step back and recognize that we don't have to be buffeted by the seas of change and the events that are occurring in our world, that we can actually step into the wisdom of our witness and direct where we want to go. Now, as we back up in that story and we look higher, as we look out at the shards of light and the people around us in the world, we also recognize that each one of them are creating as well in the same way. That there is the consciousness embedded in them, the stories that are being creative, and the shards of light that are witnesses and actually inserting a consciousness into them and changing their story as well. And so there is a collective consciousness that's at play as well, and that collective consciousness of all is impacting us as well. It's part of, and it gets absorbed into our storyteller and becomes part of the story that we're telling. But we can also use our witness consciousness to look at the story of the world and look at the story that we're collectively creating and ask ourselves, is that the story that we want for humanity? And in our own awareness and in our own consciousness, shift that to a greater story. So the first point in telling the story is to recognize that there is this creative body and creative aspect that's occurring within this divine dance, but that you can step outside of it with conscious awareness and bring the wisdom to play to shift things in your individual life, and through that, to touch the collective life. The second point in telling the story is that the theme for this overall month of November is living a compassionate life. Living a compassionate life. All of the talks that you've been getting here at Center for Spiritual Living Denver this month have been around that. And let's think about this. When we can step upwards and see that everyone is immersed in this dance, everyone is getting seduced by their stories, everyone is getting seduced by their physical addictions and actions of their body and their emotions, that everyone is going through the same challenges to a different degree that we are, we can hold ourselves to compassion. You know, we have a lot going on in this world in 2020. As we look out about what's going on, you know, we see the pandemic and its effects on people psychologically and physically and economically, that this has truly been a life-changing event for all of us. We also look at the degree of polarization politically and all of the political events that are going on in the United States, and we see people who think differently from us. And I invite you in this moment, as we look out upon the world's events and the dance that's occurring with the pandemic, the election, the politics, the racial strife, all of the other social changes that we see that seem to be bubbling up into some sort of massive change and flashpoint for us, to witness them and to hold our heart in compassion for humanity, to be a force in our own awareness and in our own witness consciousness and in the injection of our wisdom into ourselves, to act in a manner that brings compassion to everyone, no matter who they are and what they think and what they say. Yes, we can have healthy boundaries with people who are misguided, but we can also hold our hearts open to compassion for those who think differently from ourselves. In fact, as we go through this holiday week of Thanksgiving and as we interact with family members and friends, even if it's on Zoom or other virtual environments, that we can do so with compassion. We can recognize and see the divinity in those people, see them going through this dance of the story of their life. And I hope that for all of us this week is that we be and live a compassionate life in all of our interactions with everyone. And the third thing, the reason for telling the story this moment, is the final aspect. If you recall, I was describing the lights coming into birth and then leaving the physical form. You know, my personal story this week is to experience two transitions of people who were very close to me. The first is I have one brother. My brother has a number of children, as I have 5 children. And my brother's oldest daughter made her transition on Thursday. And it was, it was sad. It was something that had been coming. And my brother and I have been communicating about her leaving her physical form in her early 50s and moving on. And so the very nature that we've been moving through this experience and the grief that occurs with that particular death. But on the heels of that, on the following day, my father passed away. Now, for those of you who know me, my father relocated from Alabama out to live with my wife, Mary, and I about 2.5 years ago. And it's been a great and wonderful blessing for us to experience him in his later years. But I've also have been watching his deterioration of his physical form, the deterioration of his mental abilities, this inability to communicate, such that a week ago, Friday, we felt like we could no longer take care of his needs, and he was placed into a facility for him to continue where they could care for him at a deeper level. And shortly after that, he started deteriorating even further. And then it was actually this week on this Friday, where I was sitting in meditation. And as I sat in meditation, this visualization that I shared with you this morning came into my awareness. Partly driven perhaps by knowing of the transition of my niece the day before. But as I got out of meditation, and within 2 to 3 minutes of standing up and moving about my day, my telephone rang and I got the message from the hospice nurse that my father had passed during the night. And although I had mixed emotions, I was obviously sad and at a certain level relieved because I knew he was in pain and struggling. I couldn't help but wonder if that visualization, in the very sense that I was recognizing those shards of light returning back into oneness and the shards of light being birthed, wasn't a message somehow from both my niece and from my father, reminding me of this continuity of the dance of life, this continuity that we move into and we're given this gift of this experience in this physical form. Yes, it becomes something that we become immersed in and we become hypnotized by. But we also can step back out of it and gain wisdom from it. And aren't we here to not only experience life fully, the gifts that it gives us, the joy, the blessings, and all the things that physical form gives us, but aren't we also here to gain the wisdom of the gifts of the experience, to move through the times of challenge, be it the planetary challenges we may be experiencing or the personal challenges such as deaths and transitions in our life, to see that this immortal dance will continue and that to enjoy this time here, to be a gift to life, to recognize that we can choose our thoughts, our actions, and what we choose to create, and that we can also bring our compassion and our love to everyone at all times. I know this for myself as I move through this time, and that I dedicate this message this day to my father, Charles, who died at the age of 98 and a half, and bless his life for all the stories and the experiences that he had for all those many, many years, and the gift that he gave me, not only of this physical life, but the example that he set for me for so many years. Thanks, Dad. Let's pray. As we move inward in this moment, I simply know and feel and sense that there really is only one life, that we can visualize these dances of separation. We recognize that there's a physical form, the emotions, the storyteller, the witness, but the essence of it is all driven by the oneness of that divine light that is embedded in each and every one of us, that God moves in and through all of us and gives every one of us our existence. I know that we are given the gift of this lifetime to dance, to grow, to learn, to experience the wonder and glory of this physical form and all that it offers us. And I know this week as we get together with friends and family, be it in person or virtually, that we have joy, that we enjoy the food, the camaraderie, the time together. We look beyond our differences and we see our connectedness. We bring love to bear in all of our inner relationships with everyone this week. And as we extend that outwardly beyond our family, that we use this time of Thanksgiving to be a reminder to give thanks for life and for life's diversity of people and opinions and all that is going on, and to be anchored in the awareness that everything is working out. My father once told me many years ago that everything has a way of working out. And I've always carried that with me, knowing that all that is going on, be it the experience of transitions and deaths, or the experiences of the little deaths that are occurring in life around us, and all the change, that it's all working out perfectly. Spirit has orchestrated this divine life for us to live, enjoy, but to grow. And I know for each and every one of us that we both grow, evolve to the highest expression of who we can be, but continuously live in joy, harmony, and love. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is.
Thank you, Mark. That was beautiful. It is time for our offertory. So we are so grateful and blessed for everyone's support of CSL Denver, whether it's in time, treasure, or talent, and especially during this time of change. Whether this is your first time joining us or you are a returning community participant, we want to thank you for your continuing financial support of the important work we are striving to provide. Right now, there are several ways you can make your financial contribution to Center for Spiritual Living Denver. This information is running along the bottom of the screen. If you haven't already done it and you shop at King Soopers and or Amazon Smile, you can link your account to Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Our center would then receive a percentage of all those proceeds. Email us if you would like more information on this option. Now, please repeat with me our usual affirmation. This perfect gift is in spirit form, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive. So we have a few announcements today. Please know that our practitioners are available for prayer work with you. We would love to pray with you. Our names and phone numbers are on our website at www.csldenver.org. As mentioned at the beginning of our service, our virtual fellowship via Zoom right after service today. We've emailed an updated Zoom invitation to people who have previously attended. If you didn't receive an invitation this morning, please send an email to www.csldenver.org mentioning fellowship, and you will be sent an invitation by email. We would love for you to join us, catch up with each other, and see how we're all doing. Science Mind Magazine has a special limited time offer for CSL member communities. If you purchase a 12-month Science Mind digital subscription at $14.95 each by December 31st, 2020, and use the promotion code X000025 when you sign up, Center for Spiritual Living will receive $5 back for each subscription. For more information or to purchase, please send an email to info@csldenver.org to request the link. Meanwhile, have a wonderful week. We are so grateful for you. We love you and miss you all. Take care of yourselves. Know that the planet is healing, and we just are so grateful that you joined us for our creative process this morning. Have a great week.
As the Spirit we shall receive. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Secret endless possibilities. From the start of time, it was planned deep inside our minds. Some remember how it goes. We're part of this galactic show. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The Spirit and shall receive. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Secret endless possibilities. Thoughts of things think pure. They materialize, that's for sure. Why can't we all believe to let the universe give all we need? Glory, glory, hallelujah. As the Spirit and you shall receive. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Secret endless possibilities.